Guys, what is happening? And that's a nervous laugh from,
I know.
from Lana there.
I'm so nervous.
What is happening? And welcome to Flip the Mindset podcast, which we're back. We're back in action, feeling good. It's been a few months we've had off. So many messages of people wanting to come back on, but let's just say what a guest to start off with. Back with a bang, shall we say?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Miss Lana Wolf.
Yes.
Let's just say owner of Wolf Manor.
That is correct.
OnlyFans star, Pornstar, businesswoman, you know, footballer. There's just
I am now, apparently.
There's just so much to you. And as I said to you when we were speaking before, that because I've got to know you, there's so much more to you as well, and that's what I want everyone to see today.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So how you been? What's been happening?
I'm good. Just got a lift here from one of my pet Gimps.
Oh, okay. Was he tied up?
No, he was driving.
One hand handcuffed?
No, I've been good. I've been okay. I've been good, yeah.
Yeah, so you've obviously just had a wee brush with a wee bit of low mental health there, like myself, and we were kind of going through it together. And for you, those of you who don't know, Lana plays for my football club, Flip the Mindset. She's a big part of the team. She's fitted into the team fantastically, you know, and you love it and you're enjoying. So how are you enjoying playing football now?
Do you know what? Talking of obviously I've had a fluctuating mental health, so there's been times where I've come to football and I've like hardly spoken to anybody. I've been really quiet. I've just been in myself. But even on those days where I'm just in myself, I love playing the football. And it's a few hours of the week that I don't have to look at my phone. There's no technology. There's no nothing. And I think that's what I like about it. You just go into a almost childlike state of just playing outside and running after a ball. And on my good weeks, you know, I'm obviously a lot more outgoing and chatty with all the girls, and like I've made friends in the club now and things like that. So yeah, I love it.
I see that, and you're good as well. You know, you're a cracking defender. You have got better. See, from the first time you came to now, you have got better every single week. I know you were doing a wee bit of private coaching and stuff like some of the girls do. And that for me is really, really good to see, you know, because I don't think it'll be long till you'll be playing competitive first team football.
Yeah, that's what I want.
So, and that's got to be a dream, you know, because that's semi-pro level, going into professional level soon. So that'll be pretty cool. Massive Rangers fan, as we know. Probably lots of Celtic supporters on here. Celtic supporters in the comments giving dogs abuse here, probably. Myself, a Rangers fan. All the production team Rangers fans, of course. No, I'm like kidding. But so, like, talk to me about how you get into the whole thing with Rangers. Like, how did you fall in love? And obviously, you go to most of the games now. You travel abroad with them. You know, you're an avid supporter of them. Every time I see you, you're wearing Union Jack somewhere. Have you got something on the day that's Union Jack?
My nails.
There you go. I phoned you and you were in a Union Jack 90 when I video called you, and you had a Union Jack cup.
I did. Yeah, my house is full of Union Jacks. Okay, so this might sound a bit controversial, but I'm actually from a mixed family of Rangers and Celtic. So
most of us.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal, but I don't think people would expect that from me. But my mum's side of the family was very Rangers, and my grandparents were actually in the army. That's how they met, and things like that. So, you know, my family's kind of always been that way inclined. I haven't always gone to the games because I've lived in so many different places, like all over England, France. When I came back to Scotland, I was at uni and stuff like that, and then I was also stripping. So when I was stripping, I used to go to Magaluf, Tenerife, like Ibiza, New York, things like that. And then it was only really when I kind of made a base back in Scotland again, when I moved back, that I just got really into football. I think it was lockdown. I think it was in lockdown. So I never had a Twitter account before, and then in lockdown I made a Twitter account, and then I got onto Rangers Twitter, and it was just so funny. Like, that's how, you know, I kind of got into Rangers Twitter, and then I was like, I came up with the ideas for the content, you know, like the funny viral videos for the Peg and the Celtic Slaves, and I did an Old Firm orgy and things like that. So that's kind of how I started making Rangers content. But and then obviously I started going to the games regularly. And yeah, I still do. So
I think everyone's journey is so personal. Like, so talking about Old Firm supporters here, Rangers or Celtic supporter, everyone's journey is personal. It's all unique. Whether it's your brother. You know, for me, it was my brother. I didn't have a dad, so it was my brother, massive Rangers fan. For some people, it's their granda. Some people, it's their cousin. It's someone like their uncle takes them to games when they're younger and they see Ibrox or Parkhead and they fall in love with it. Everyone's story is different and unique.
Yeah, I really, really wish that I'd had that childhood, but, you know, I just didn't. Like, you know, it would have been nice to obviously get taken to football games and stuff when I was younger, but it's something that I found that I started doing on my own at a later date, you know.
Yeah, well, I didn't either, to be honest, because I was playing pro youth football, so we played in the same days, and then it wasn't often that when I went into junior football, it wasn't often that we had the same day. So make it Rangers were playing on a Saturday, we'd be playing on a Saturday, I would only really get to go to the Sunday games, and it was brutal. So I don't know, many of us are the same. I didn't get to go to games till I was a wee bit older. Obviously been at the odd game, but didn't get to properly go and invest or whatever. And that's what I'm saying, every journey is unique and every journey is important, and it's mad how in Scotland football is just, you know, it's like a second language. It is our thing, you know, like, I don't know, it's weird, like, it's probably the tail end of every second conversation held in Scotland.
As somebody that's lived in a lot of different places, and I find it very difficult to answer the question, like, where are you from? And, you know, people always try to place my accent and things like that. And finding football and finding Rangers and things like that, it's really helped me cement that feeling of having a home. And that's why I consider Glasgow to be my home now. All my friends, I've made such a good group of friends with the Rangers community and like the Rangers fans. And I don't know, it just gives me a sense of belonging. And I've just found a huge passion in it. I
love that. That's the same for many of us. It's that belonging, that being part of something bigger than you know what I mean? It's class. So what a lot of people don't know is there many sides to you. You know, you're fluent in French and Spanish.
That I am. So I went to St Andrews Uni.
Yep.
And I studied French and Spanish, yeah. So I think that's kind of how I got into, in a weird way, it's how I got into stripping, because I was doing seasons abroad to try and learn the languages, but then I ended up in Magaluf, and then I got scouted to be a stripper, and then, you know, I loved stripping. I really liked it. I'm a bit of an exhibitionist, if you didn't know, if you couldn't tell. So I was stripping for years, and I kind of always thought, oh, I'll just strip until I graduate. And then I graduated, and then I was like, I don't want to get a real job. I want to be a stripper. So then I stripped for a while longer, and then I ended up getting a real job, as they call it, for a charity that helps homeless people. And I really, really enjoyed it, but I was always I was leading a bit of a double life. I was stripping at the weekend and then going to my Christian charity job during the week, because it was a Christian organisation. And I was always trying to find time to do the stripping. And then obviously OnlyFans and Admire Me, which was a platform I was on at the time, they started becoming like a thing. So I kind of jumped on that. And I suppose once I bought my first property, and I got the keys to the flat, I was like, right, I am going to quit my job and I'm just going to do this full time, like just focus on the OnlyFans thing. Then lockdown hit and I just blew up overnight. That's what it felt like. I feel like I was in a really lucky position. I was in a lucky position because I was already established when lockdown hit.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, a lot of new girls boomed up, like they kind of started up their OnlyFans and stuff, and it was like a huge boom. But because I'd already had kind of so much content, like if a guy's gonna, you know, if he's gonna subscribe to anyone, is he gonna subscribe to this girl with like 300 videos, or is he gonna subscribe to this girl with like 10? He's gonna subscribe to me, isn't he? So yeah. I guess I'd already made a bit of a name for myself even before lockdown. So yeah,
lockdown was a bit crazy. Lockdown and TikTok made so many people. You know, it obviously had a negative effect on many of us and still has, you know, with mental health and stuff like that. But especially on TikTok, so many people blew up, you know, with numerous accounts, with, you know, up to 1 million followers, maybe more, you know. It made so many people what they are today. So there's a good bit in that. So stripping, you've stripped in Magaluf, you've stripped in New York.
New York.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Talk to me about New York.
So I lived in a student ballerina accommodation with all the ballerinas. And my rent was like, I don't know, like almost $2,000 a month.
Wow.
But then I'd go to the strip club and I'd make like $1,000 a night. So it was good. Yeah, came back with loads of money.
That is quite cool.
I actually got stopped by a drug dog once for having cash. And they had to like make sure I didn't have too much cash, like over the 10 grand limit. Okay. So...
Is that like, so there was like a kind of limit on how much you could earn in that place?
Yeah, kind of. Well, sometimes I used to like hide money in like different places in case like I was just so scared that they would like find it and be like, why have you got so much money? Why do you keep coming to America? So I don't know.
That is quite scary to be fair. How did you get, we won't go into it, but how did you get the money back? Free suitcases?
No, it wasn't that much money. Like I wasn't working every single night. I was still enjoying New York and stuff, and like I made friends when I was there.
What was New York like? I've always wanted to go.
It was good. There's a Rangers bar in New York.
Is there?
Yeah, I visited once, and I used to go to the New York City games too. I went to a few.
Yeah.
But you know, I was abroad. It was kind of hard to always keep track of everything that was going on. But yeah.
Did you get any romance over there?
Yeah, I did. I met somebody in the strip club.
Nice.
And I had a little fleeting thing with him. And then I also met a sugar daddy, who I actually saw. I saw my sugar daddy from New York, so I must have known this guy for literally years, like 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, I couldn't even count. Probably even longer than that. It was ages ago when I was in New York, and I was in Las Vegas for the AVN Award. Mm-hmm. In January, and I've texted him saying, oh, by the way, I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend, and he was like, okay, I'll fly over and see you. So he flew over to Vegas just to have dinner with me, and we just had dinner and caught up, and I was like, yeah, I made $1 million. He's like, I always knew you would. So we just had a nice dinner, and then that was it.
Yeah,
left.
It's amazing because like you do live like there's two sides of you. You do live that you know, lifestyle, that cool lifestyle that people like to see, and you know, people fly over and meet you, extravagant places, extravagant dinners, and all that. And then there's a really humble side to you as well, where that I see at football. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what we were talking about, differentiating between that. So, like, obviously, if you go into like your work is now your work. You've made it your work now. You've built an empire. Do you know what I mean? You've made tons of money. I don't think people actually know how intelligent you are that way. Do you know what I mean? That is incredible because you were talking about self-marketing and stuff like that. That is so important for people coming up because it's going to be a lesson to men and women or whoever coming up from wanting to get into the same industry. Marketing's huge, you know, and being your own biggest fan, and you chose not to go down that. Could you talk a bit about, obviously, why you didn't and why you kind of chose to market yourself and do, like, your own video clips and stuff and not...
Oh, so you mean, like, doing, like, a free... Yeah, so I'm a freelance, self-employed content creator, so I do everything myself. So all the marketing, all the everything. Honestly, I do everything myself, like even all my admin, all my editing. It's only very recently that I'm like, right, maybe I should invest in some people to help me. But it's always been very, very difficult for me to relinquish that control and kind of leave it to somebody else to do. So, but the marketing's the fun bit because that's where you get to do all your funny video ideas and viral video ideas and TikToks and things like that. You
just don't want to cut yourself too thin where you're so busy you've not got time for you?
Well, sometimes, honestly, I wake up and I've got so many things to do that it makes me not want to do a damn thing. And then when you've got a fluctuating mental health, you know, there's been so many days that, oh, God, I hate even thinking about it. There's been so many days that I've wasted just lying in bed that I'm just too overwhelmed and too depressed to do anything. So this year, and I'm sure we'll talk about the sobriety in a bit, but, you know, this year with going sober and things like that, I'm like, how can I elevate this now? Elevate, you know, it's to my career, my work, but also how can I, like, once and for all just fix me and like, you know, I've got the money now that I can hire an editor, and if that means that it's like one less thing that I have to do, then I'm doing that. So
you've got to, you know, decompartmentalization. or decompartmentalization, or whatever it is. That's something I've been getting taught recently, of putting things in boxes and prioritising what you can control, what you know. So I was setting myself so thin as well, and then it becomes too much, and then if your mental health's low at the same time, you know, it's a ticking time bomb. So, you know, then, right, I need to prioritise this family, I need to prioritise this work, I need to prioritise this football, I need space for this, I need space for that, I need space for that. So hiring someone is probably so important for you moving forward, 100%, because you're in the place you can do it now. So if that takes a huge weight off you, you're ultimately going to be much better, and it gives you free time to go and do Lana things. Do you know what I mean as well?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, really, I should just be making content and, you know, doing the things that I can do, and then I should be leaving the editing and stuff to other people.
But I get the control stuff
but
as well.
But it's just, it's so hard, because I'm like, no one can do it how I can do it.
Yeah, I get that. So we need to touch on, obviously, a lot of the rumours that were going about before, as we've brushed on. Whatever the rumours are, you know, we all have rumours made up about us, and I think the bigger you get, the more rumours come out. You know, and that's just the way it is in this world. But are they true? Are they not?
Well, listen. So there was a really nasty, horrible rumour, right, of the last year, and I just want to ask people to look at the timing of that. I had just bought my Wolf Manor, and it's almost like any time that something really good happens to me and that I'm doing really, really well, it's like people just can't stand to see that. And it was just a malicious, vicious lie and rumour that started. But unfortunately, it's been extremely detrimental to me and to my mental health. And it's just, it's hard to talk about, really, because... Sorry, I don't know what to say.
No, listen. Understand. It's you know, I've had rumours made up of me, lots. You know, I think we all.
But yeah, no, don't believe anything. Don't believe everything that you see on the internet. Basically, please.
I think we've all had rumours. Any content creator coming up, or anyone that gets into a bit of fame, we've all had it.
The problem is that when I first started becoming Lana Wolf, you know, I created the brand, right? So it's almost like I've shot myself in the foot. Shall I say that again? Sorry. So the thing is when I became Lana Wolf, and, you know, the brand was starting to be created, I kind of shot myself in the foot, because it looked as though the more outrageously slutty things that I would do and come out with, the more money I was making. And sometimes I would, like, you know, kind of do bait tweets, and I would tweet and be like, oh, like, I'm going to go out and, you know, find a one-night stand. And, like, you know, at New Year, I was like, oh, I'd love to have a New Year orgy tonight and things like that. And, you know, I kind of made myself out to be, like, a proper tramp. But that's what made me money, and that was kind of the Lana Wolf brand. But now it's like, if somebody comes out with a rumour saying, oh, Lana Wolf fucked so-and-so in a bar, people believe it, because they think, oh yeah, that's the kind of thing Lana would do. Yeah. And now I'm a bit like, fuck, why do people actually believe this about me? You know, like that. I just wouldn't do that. When it comes to making content and stuff as well, like, we all get fully tested. Like, I get a blood test every month to make sure that I don't have STIs. I expect the person that I'm sleeping with to have the exact same STI checks. Then they also have to sign contracts saying that they're not under the influence of alcohol or drugs, that they're, you know, all of these different things, and, you know, you get their IDs and everything. So it's like, when people say, like, oh, Lana's done this and Lana's done that and shagged this person and that person, I'm a bit like, why do people just believe everything that they see on the internet? It really annoys me. But I guess people love a scandal, and unfortunately I'm in a lot of scandals.
It's interesting you say that, because you were talking about, I remember we were having a talk about, so make it for a 6-month part of the year, you know, you'll go and video somewhere, or 2 locations, you'll make maybe
exactly
videos,
so
right?
This is the thing, right? So people think, so this is what I make out, it's like so, you know, well, maybe not now, because I kind of want people to know the real me now, but, you know, in the past it was like, oh yeah, Lana's like, she's doing this every day, and, like, having sex every day with all these different people, right? And, like, I honestly don't. It's like, I go to New York, not New York, I don't know why I said New York. I go to America, and I'll make, like, 10 videos, and then I'll come back, and then I'll like post those videos like once a week, and then maybe I'll go down to England, and then I'll do like a bunch of videos. And then I'll do the same thing and I'll schedule the videos. Like, unless I have a boyfriend who I'm making content with, which has happened in the past, when I've had, you know, different boyfriends, you know, then obviously I'll sleep with them to make content. But
so
I'm not actually like going out shagging all the time.
Yeah, no, I've not.
Sorry to kill your fantasy.
That's a big thing, and I've heard a few American porn stars talk about it. So like in a 6-month period, they might sleep with, say, 6 people, and they'll make lots. They'll make like a year's worth of content out of it, right? Lots of stuff. You know, I know very many people that are sleeping with 1-2 every weekend. Do you know what I mean? Without protection, without signatures, without tests and stuff like that. So there's really, you know, it's just too easy for people to just, because you're out there and you put yourself out, it's too easy for people to go. And this is the thing,
because I'm me now, because I'm Lana Wolf, like I couldn't, even if I wanted to go out and shag someone new every weekend, I couldn't, because everybody would know about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like...
It is a kind of misled, kind of more fantasy thing maybe. And that must be difficult as well, differentiating between Lana Wolf and... I just call you Lana, just Lana.
Yeah, I know.
Just be Lana, brilliant, you know. Pardon me, outgoing Lana. So it's...
But you're right though, it's creating a fantasy, like, you know.
Yeah.
Although there are things that are real, like a lot of the porn is amateur porn and it's real.
Yeah.
Because I pride myself on that. I pride myself in the fact that my porn isn't just that squeaky clean, all acting, like it's took all days to shoot and it's got a million stops and starts. Like I like to do a scene in one go.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, fun and we're both in control, me and the other creator, and it's just, you know, it is amateur, and sometimes, you know, they'll come up to Wolf Manor and like, you know, we're just having a great time, and it is real. Like obviously it's kind of been arranged, but it is real. And then the Wolf Manor slave stuff, like the domination stuff, that's real because I live that lifestyle.
Yeah. So how many slaves do you have?
I've got 4 that I see regularly, and then I've got all my online ones, and then ones that I haven't met yet, but I'm thinking of. But I have to be very selective.
Right. Okay.
Wolf Manor's invite only.
So, like so.
I call them my pet gimps.
Right, okay, we'll call them pet gimps. Slave's not a good, slave's definitely not a good
No,
thing.
sorry.
We call them pet gimps, right? So you have that's the kind of dominatrix world you're in. You know, it's like film stuff, it's like movie stuff, do you know what I mean? But you live that.
So that's the side of me that is like, that is real. Because, you know, the porn and stuff, yeah, like, you know, we kind of pre-plan it and whatever. Obviously, you know, the sex is real or whatever, but the domination lifestyle, like that's off camera as well. That's just my lifestyle. I like it.
Yeah, I've seen a wee bit
but
of
I'm
it,
trying to, this year actually, I'm trying to do more of the domination as part of my, as more of, as the Lana Wolf brand, because why not? Because it is real life, so it'll be easier for me to make the content and to do and to talk about. And I've got the Wolf Manor now, like I'm gonna kind of go more into that, I think.
Yeah, you kind of like that stuff though. You were saying
yeah,
like, you
I enjoy
like
it.
That kind of
I'm good at it.
So Wolf Manor has been purchased. You know, huge place. You know what I mean? It looks. I've not seen it in person, but I've seen all the videos that you play, or if I phone you or anything like that. It looks the biz. But what I want to talk about is what's the next 5 to 10 year plan for Wolf Manor?
What do you mean? If I'll still be there?
Well, remember you were saying like you were maybe going to turn Wolf. So Wolf Manor, if you're going to brand it, that could be incredible. Do you know what I mean for you? Whether it's a dominatrix chamber, whether it's...
Well, okay, so it's a 5-bedroom converted church for the people who don't know. I've bought a 5-bedroom converted church. I only actually use one of the rooms as a bedroom. I mean, there is a spare bed in the dungeon that I suppose people can stay in, but it's like, hey, you can stay in the dungeon if you want, but that's okay for collabs and stuff. But I use all the bedrooms
for... It's not what you put your mum in that, is it?
No.
Okay, well,
get
down the dungeon.
I use all the bedrooms for filming rooms, so I've got like a gym and an office, and I've got a walk-in wardrobe room and a dungeon. So I do have a dungeon at Wolf Manor, and it's a red, white and blue dungeon. To match, you know, the Rangers Union Jack theme, because I kind of made a name for myself doing pegging videos, playing on the rivalry between Rangers and Celtic. So I thought, I always do. I have a tradition, which is that every Old Firm, I release a new Celtic slave. Sorry, I know you don't like that word. Okay. A Celtic pegging video. So yeah, I got custom made furniture, which is all red, white and blue. I've got custom made latex outfits that are all red, white and blue. I've got red, white and blue toys, like every toy under the sun. I've got big dragon dildos. I've got everything. And I've got like red, white and blue penises on the walls. I've got, lots of crazy stuff in there. When I bought the church, I kind of imagined that the whole thing would just be this big, like, gothy, dommy dungeon place. But then in reality, if I have visitors and like you said, my mom coming around, maybe it's not ideal having, all the whips and chains upstairs. So it's a kind of an upside down house. So all the rooms are downstairs, and then my upstairs is kind of like a big open space with my big, I call it the orgy sofa. Right. Okay. It's just like a really beautiful big open space. There's loads of windows, obviously on both sides of the church. There's like the big church windows and things. So
see, that's pretty cool. You must be pretty proud of yourself because you've self-made that. You've absolutely smashed it.
I bought it with porn money.
But even so,
I know.
Do you know what I mean? You've self. It doesn't matter what money. Whether whether you buy it with There's many people that do many things in this world. If you work hard and it's legal.
I was going to say, have you lost your train of thought? Sorry.
I was going to say something there. Wait there. I need to get another drink.
Okay. Cool.
I was going to say something horrendously. Man.
Am I doing okay?
You're doing amazing.
Are you sure? Am I likeable?
Yes. You're doing amazing. I told you'll come out. I like how you opened up about something you weren't going to really open up about there, and that was quite cool. The way you talked about Rangers and Celtic.
What, about my family?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No one knows that.
No, that's a big... that's probably where the rumour comes from that I used to be a Celtic fan. When everyone's like, she used to be a Tim.
You want then? All good. Oh. Okay. What was I going to talk about there? That was funny. Okay, we lost it there for a bit. Refill of the juice. Took a shite. No kidding. It's good to be back, the authenticity of this podcast I just love. That's what I said to you. That's what I pride it on. Mm-hmm. The authenticity, the good vibes, the talking about mental health, the being open, the laying yourself on the table. It's like, when you lay it all on the table, and you. I think that's the biggest humbling thing about coming on this podcast. Everyone after it feels so refreshed. Do you know what I mean? And I'm happy that many people are when they watch this are going to learn, exactly who Lana is, and that's pretty cool. And I think, so many more people fall in love with you and understand you a lot more as well. Without ruining the fantasy as well, because that's something you're excellent at. So what is the life of a Gimp? Or your Gimp? What's happening? Is it you're making cereal with a dog leash and he's following you about? Or?
Sometimes. Well, okay, so I've got one that comes on a Wednesday night, and we normally film. So he's my go-to filming guy. And he comes round and we have video ideas, and he'll spend all week getting excited about what we're going to film together, and then he comes over and we make stuff happen. I'm actually doing a rugby Scotland versus Ireland video. It's coming out in a few days.
Because that game's for the weekend. Sunday, is it? Saturday?
Yeah, I think Saturday. So we did that last night. So yeah, I was filming last night. Then I've got... I don't know if I should say his name. Should I just say?
No.
No, okay. And then I've got one that drives me about all the time. So he'll drive me to football, or drive me to the airport, or drive me to collabs. He drove me here. So he's just like, he loves driving, but he also loves doing domestic servitude. So when he's at my house, he'll do my laundry and things like that. I do actually have a cleaner that I pay for, but this pet Gimp will kind of like do my laundry and like put my clothes away and stuff like that. Like, so it's
and they love that, you know, that they really get off on that.
They get a huge kick out of it. Yeah. And like sometimes I'll make it really difficult for them. So like if I want him to tidy something up, I'll make him do it like handcuffed. So it just makes it really difficult for him.
And does that make their experience better in their?
Yeah, they love it. And like, you know, sometimes I'll like play up to it and I'll come in and be like, missed a bit. They just love, like, I don't know, they just want you to be nasty to them. And
that's amazing, man.
And then I've got another one who's like probably like, well, I think he's I won't say, but he's in the military, but like one of them, if that makes sense. And he's like really fit, and like he's sexy, but he doesn't want to be on camera, so it's like, but he just comes around just to have fun. But like, you know, it's obviously like, it's like sometimes I'll get them to help me with like, because I have so much content creation that I need to do that I'll be like, right, you can come and play, but you know, help me film like 3 TikToks or something like that. So
you have actually, you know, you've got like a kind of relationship with them as well, though. You know what I mean? Like, especially with the driver, like who I've met and I've seen. You know,
I know. Like he's met everyone. He's met my mum and everything. Yeah,
I mean, you can just tell he loves the bones off you, and you are quite kind of, you know, you're probably confiding in each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're a good pair. We're just not in a. It's not a romantic relationship. It's a friendship that also has elements of BDSM kink in it. But I mean, it's.
I love how when you say it like that, you go BDSM kink.
Yeah. I'm starting to think I might be a bit polyamorous as my journey has, you know, gone through. Like, as I've become so open sexually, like, I think my job's probably helped with porn and, you know, sleeping with lots of people. I don't know. I don't have, like, that weird jealousy thing of, like, I don't know. I think I haven't really explored the polyamory thing, but I'm starting to think that I am a little bit like that. I'm not saying I'm in love with everyone, but I like to have lots of different people in my life. And I think that that's why being a dominatrix suits me well, because I'll always have someone different, like, you know, coming around every day. Yeah. I hate being on my own. I get so miserable and depressed when I'm on my own. I've got no accountability in my job because I'm my own boss. And if I don't have someone coming over that day, they'll be the days that I mope around in bed all day, you know. So I kind of like filling my life with different people, and yeah.
You've almost self-medicated with domination.
I mean, they do say that BDSM is healing, so, you know, who knew I was actually healing myself?
And that is that brings us on to obviously a question, quite a good question I wanted to ask you about how you differentiate between your real life relationships and being a porn star.
So you mean? Are we talking about?
Yeah, like make it you meet a man, boyfriend.
Okay.
Material, fall in love with him. Boom, boom, boom. Obviously, we had a wee talk before of the differentiation. So how do you go from being Lana Wolf to just being babe? Do you know what I mean? Because that's a huge thing.
Honestly,
you know,
I've not had a healthy romantic relationship since I, you know, kind of had the rise to fame, if you want to call it, you know, becoming Lana Wolf. The last sort of healthy relationship I had was before that, when I was a stripper, and I kind of broke up with him because I wanted to do porn, and he was like, well, I don't want to date a porn star. And I was like, well, I want to be a porn star, so, you know, that's why we broke up. We're still good friends, kind of. He's got a new girlfriend now, but...
See, that would be the hard bit, and I know, I'm not, you know, I've had, you know, I think even the producers, I think we've all grown up having these kind of conversations, like, would you date this, could you date that, could you do that, and for a lot of men, they could not handle that.
Exactly, and that's why the only men that I attract these days seem to be like, I don't know, I've had a few narcissists, let's put it that way, because they either want... It seems like they want either the name, like the notoriety, or they want like the money or something. So I've had some really, really bad eggs recently. Obviously, I don't know if you've heard about what happened to me back in October, where that guy beat me up. So yeah, that was put me off men for life, really. But no, it's fine. I've not been put off for life, don't worry.
Spot check here. Are you bisexual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had, the first time I had sex with a girl was in uni. So that was way before I was even a stripper, I think.
Wow, so you already...
So but I've never had a romantic girlfriend. I've just had sex with my friends who are women.
Right. Okay.
So I've had like close bonds with women. Like I've almost felt like a relationship, but
yeah,
I don't know. But I've just never had a romantic girlfriend. Never say never though.
Is something you would think of?
Well, now that I've had sex with loads of women, I know I can do it and I know I can enjoy it. So it kind of makes me think, well, why couldn't I have a female girlfriend? Because, you know, I know I can do it. And I do fancy them a lot. So it's like, yeah. People ask me that all the time. They're like, why don't you just be a lesbian? But I don't know, maybe I like cock too much.
So obviously... it's obviously a personal decision, do you know what I mean, and one that will come to you.
Yeah.
You know, our life and our journey goes so many ways and so many different things happen to us during our life that affect us and impact us and change us. I think I don't know. Like I knew, obviously. I can't even talk about that. I definitely think, like, with you, and you talk about having loads of people around all the time. Do you think that's something maybe that brushes over the mental health a bit? Do you know what I mean? So, you know, obviously,
probably.
If you self-heal yourself, like we all do. We all use loads of stuff to self-medicate and self-heal, don't we? By surrounding yourself with loads of people, there will be times when you're on your own and things go peak-tong. So you need protection from that. So, you know, you need to almost work on, well, my tattoos, they're all gone now, but heal yourself first. Do you know what I mean? Yes, is that something you're considering? Is that... You're
absolutely right. And I've got the perfect example. So I have been self-healing with people, and I've really been, I don't like the word using, but it's like using people to kind of, you know, help, you know, like, so if I'm feeling shit and I'm like, oh, like, you know, so I had a friend, I won't name her, but my best friend, we've just fallen out in January because she just had a baby and she couldn't have the baby and me because I was just like being a bit too much, I think. And she's like, because I was like, oh, like, you know, please can you come and help me do this, or you know, do this. And it actually got to the point where I was going to pay her, and I was like, look, you do so much for me, like, let me pay you so that you can work for me, like work for Wolf Manor Studios, like I want you to, you know, and you know, and the baby was like, what, 2 months old or something, and like she was just like, look, like I can't, like you're like, I was obviously too high maintenance as a friend. So like, and she's still not speaking to me now. I'm hoping that eventually she'll talk to me again, but it's like, because we have been best friends since we were like little, so it kind of, I feel like she's just taken a break, but
yeah, there's two sides to that coin where she might have been feeling really guilt trapped, and obviously maybe because you weren't taking the baby into account, but then with you...
Yeah, I know. I think I was going for a really, really stressful time in January as well. I was selling my first flat, my first property, and I had all this tax. I had fucking made so many mistakes with tax, you have no idea. Like, I had no one to help me with tax. They don't teach you it in schools. It's really annoying. So I just had a really stressful time. I was newly sober, so my brain was just like... I was just like... really, really stressed. Everything seemed like the biggest deal ever. And I think maybe I was just asking like too much from my friends.
You're just latching on big time,
Yeah, like...
But that's got to be understood of her too, though.
With low mental health, like, you know, sometimes like, you know, I mean, there's been times in the past where I've even worked with people and like they've been nice to me. And then I get really attached and I'm like... Da, 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 and then, you know, they end up blocking me or whatever because I'm just too much, like, I don't know.
See, that's got to be understood too, and off your friends, you know what I mean? That's got to be understood that they know you've got them traits, do you know what I mean? So sometimes just putting the barrier there between you both, going, listen, you're doing this again, or boom, you're going too far with me, just kind of coming under the BPD diagnosis and stuff like that, and all my meds been changing, as I said. So, like, there's certain traits I've got where I've had to tell people now to tell me, no, you know, you're getting that way again when I get really kind of serious and just off, and it's looking at me, it's looking like a stone wall, do you know what I mean? And it's a horrible person that I don't become a horrible person, but I just feel really straight, you know what I mean? Really straight to the point, boom. and it takes a while for me to get out of that phase, and I'll just answer quick, sharp, I'll be a wee bit blunt, but I know I'm in it, but I feel locked in it. Do you know what I mean? But so with you, if you're latching on to if you're obviously self-medicating through people, like a lot of us do, we all don't want to be alone. That's the biggest. That's the biggest scare in all of us. We know we don't want to be alone. But if you struggle with mental health, like me and you do, you know, and we've got conditions maybe undiagnosed, or maybe we're working with counsellors or whatever, being alone is hell.
I know it is hell, and I've spent so much time alone. Like, you have to realise that although I've just said, you know, now, like I'm hiring new people, and like, you know, I've got my my pet Gimps and stuff like that, but I've spent so much time on my own, and it is really depressing, like, because obviously it's just me living at Wolf Manor. I'm single, I don't have a boyfriend, like, it's just every day, like, waking up, and like, that's why I'm just like, ugh, like, why do I even get out of bed today? Like, I just and like, I lose all my inspiration, lose all my motivation. I see all the nasty comments online, I just think, what's the point? Like, yeah, there's been some really, really, really low times in my life, and you know, and last year was maybe a bit different, because I kind of realised about a year ago that I probably had a bit of a problem with the drinking and the drugs. But although I was probably more self-aware of it, so I'd never been self-aware up until that point. Even though I was self-aware, it was almost harder, because I knew that I couldn't stay sober, and I think that was a form of self-medication as well, because I used to like sniff drugs on my own in the house and just listen to music. Yeah. Like, that's when I knew, I was like, this isn't probably not like...
Dry sniffing is brave of you.
It was really like, it was like embarrassing even to my dealer, because like my dealer would normally like drop off, and like I'd be having like a party or something going on, and then like sometimes like it would just be me in the house, and I'd have to be like awkwardly like I don't know, and I'd like just be like, oh yeah, like my friends are inside.
Listen, you've no idea how many people are going through that right now. Like, you know, I've dealt with so many people, and you know, I talk to so many people about it, and people will reach out. You know, I'm sitting in the house dry sniffing, I'm going to work dry sniffing. You know, I'd touch base with someone in a really, you know, he had a quite a high up job, and he was dry sniffing every single day, and it can really put you in a place. Well, you think about the party. See, when you're partying, you are living life. You don't have a care in the world. Similar to what you do when you kind of cure your mental health a bit, you know what I mean? Like my anxiety, so when I have my medicine, I'll feel a bit more like, oh, I can take on today. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's what people feel when they're on the drink. It's just when you get into the drugs and the drink together, the first few hours will be the best of your life, and then you know it's a slippery road for the next 2 days, or how many days you end up on it, 2 days, 3 days, and you know what's coming, because what is coming is suicidal thoughts. You know,
but I would try
paranoia.
I completely agree with you, but I used to try to avoid that by keep on. So this is where I got to a really dangerous point. So obviously we would have the night out, then it would go into the next morning, and then people would maybe even start to leave and stuff, you know, when the birds start cheeping, the sun comes up, and I would then not want to deal with the consequences of like the come down and the hangover, so I would keep going on my own. And that's where it got really, really dangerous, because like, you know, I used to get all these like fucking fluttery like feelings and like panic attacks in my house, and I was like a dinosaur. And then I was like, I'm gonna end up dead. But I think maybe a weird part of me, because I have hit some really, really dark points last year after all the horrible rumours that everyone's saying about me, that I honestly didn't care if I died. And I'll tell you the truth, like, I just thought, so what? Like, do you know what I mean? So I would do it knowing, like, oh, you know, you might die. Yeah,
pure self-sabotage.
It was just a form of self-harm, I think. Like, I was just... And then I would spend like a week feeling really crap, and like, because like especially as I've got older, the hangovers and the come downs get worse, especially when you're going on like 3-4 day benders, and then you know, I just feel so bad that I can't get out of bed, things like that. And then eventually I might think, right, okay, I'm starting to feel a bit better now. Let's go out and like go and drink. So I'm like, woo, let's go and drink. And then I get on it again, and then it was a vicious circle. And then, you know, I thought I was like, you know, I've struggled with depression and things like my whole life. And then I remember going to the doctors, and they were like, well, how much do you drink and sniff drugs? And I was like, oh, well, this much. And they were like, oh, are you sure you're actually depressed and you're not just constantly on a come down and hungover and stuff like that? And I was like, fuck.
But something's probably got you there. It's too easy an answer for them to say that. Something's took you to that point, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like 100%.
They always ask that, and sometimes you feel like when they ask that, like, oh, have you took any recreational drugs or something, you feel if you say yes, they're just going to go, oh, it's just drugs, you know what I mean? But there's deeper problems. So, and you're right with there was a boy worded it perfectly, mailing me back and forth, and I'm trying to just be there for him and stuff like that, and he's like, Kenny, I'll recover on the Thursday. You know, from you know, I'll go out on the Friday, I'll be home on the Monday morning, you know, I'll take Valium or smoke weed to settle myself down. I'll try and make work, and then on the Thursday I'll start to feel better, you know, but I've still got all these kind of anxiety feelings and stuff, and the Friday I'm back out and doing that constantly until they just fall into a shit heap and we either take they take their own life or they end up in bad situations. And there's kids in you know 16 to 40, you know, is probably the age. It's all over the country. It's everywhere. There's kids smoking crack now constantly. There's, you know, and going to work as well doing it. There's just a real problem. We cannot deal with the world. Like, who do you know that doesn't vape? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
And then you've got loads of people who self-medicate on dihydrocodone. I've done that. People who self-medicate on Valium. I've done that. People who self-medicate on gym. So like they'll go to the gym twice a day, every day, constantly counting calories and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Using that. You know, who's not doing something to make themselves feel a wee bit calm since COVID, or even during COVID? Who is not? I hardly know anyone who's just strong mindset, straight peg, you know what I mean? Everyone is doing something to get themselves by, whether it's snus, cigarettes, vapes, drink, cocaine, or the darker stuff, you know, and is that not scary? Do you know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, bad coping mechanisms.
It's an episode of our lives, and it's hard to think about, to be honest.
I know I am a little bit out of my comfort zone because it's just talking about me, you know, and I'm not being protected by the brand, and I'm like talking about me and my mental health and stuff, and it's like, it's hard. But like the mental health problems probably predate. I mean, they definitely predated. I mean, I could tell you stories about when I was in uni and I was agoraphobic and I couldn't leave my dorm. Wow. And I hadn't left my dorm for so long that the university they sent someone to my room to make sure I hadn't killed myself. And the reason that nobody had seen me, so I mean, I think I'd left my room maybe like once or twice, and I remember, like, I'll tell you this, like, I remember like it's yesterday. So I was on the first floor, so I was in the ground floor, but there was still a bit of a drop out my window. And like, so I was agoraphobic, but you know, if I had to go and get food or something, or cigarettes, or I don't know, like I would have to obviously leave sometimes, but I couldn't leave through my front door. I could only leave through the window. So I couldn't and it was like this weird fear of leaving my room and leaving my space. And I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want anyone to see me or recognize me or ask me where I'd been or anything like that. And I had bondage rope. so you know, like a string of bondage rope, and I tied it to my computer desk chair, and then I would jump out the window with the rope, so that when I got back to my window, I could pull the chair out and jump on the chair and then go in the window and then pull it up. So I had this like way of, so like, and I'm not agoraphobic anymore, but sometimes I still feel like it kind of, maybe I do carry it a bit with me, because sometimes, you know, when I'm having a bad week and I'll realise I haven't left my house for a week, and I'm like, right, I need to go outside, because I can't go back to that where I'm jumping out of windows and stuff. Like, I've had a history of self-harm, trigger warning, sorry. I won't go into details what I used to do, but lots of different things I used to do. And then I've always been a bit of a pisshead. And then even when I was stripping, you know, we would get drunk every night. When I was in Magaluf, we would get paid €5 for every drink that we got someone to buy us. So of course, even if I wasn't stripping, I could sit and party and get paid. Wow. So, you know, that really probably cemented a bit of an alcoholism in me, because it was every single night for 6 months in the summer. Because I think I did about 3 or 4 summers in a row in Magaluf.
Difficult
drinking
place
every
to
night.
Put your workers in, you know. They're high-end strippers.
They did, you know, I know... I actually had a meeting with my, I think they noticed that I was on a slippery slope, and they took me in the office, and they did say, like, you need to stop drinking, you need to get off the booze. Like, we're going to give you, like, you know, a few weeks off work so you can go and have a holiday and, like, nice. You know, get off the booze. But then I went to Ibiza and took loads of drugs. So it didn't work. Yeah. But and before I started stripping, they did a meeting, and they said, look, we've got some strippers here that can't start work until they've downed a bottle of wine each. Mm-hmm. So we don't want you to end up like that. But it's just, you know, they must see it happen to every girl, and that's why they have those meetings. But
of course, you see it yourself. If you're, I'm not in strippers often, but if ever the boys are going down, you know, you can see it yourself. The girls will be intoxicated or on cocaine and stuff like that, and you know, it's damaging. It's quite hard to. Some of the girls, not all the girls, of course. It's hard to watch. You know, it's and that must. How do you know? You wake up in the morning, you're constantly hungover, and I take it you go to the beach, and then. Or you know.
Yeah, so I would set my well, actually, so this is the thing, right? So we'd finish work around between 4 and 6 a.m. depending on how well you were doing. Obviously, if you're making money, you'd stay until 6. But then because everybody was drunk and probably partying and whatever, then there was this weird place called Sky Lounge, and then we would go there, and that would be open until 12 p.m. the next day, and like it kind of had a really bad rep. It was just like all the proper records would go there after work, and then we'd stay there until like 7 a.m. and then we'd go to sleep, and then I'd have to set my alarm for 5 p.m. to make sure that I was up and that I could get ready and have a shower and do my makeup before work.
Where's your time?
Well, the time that was after work when we would all take drugs in the Sky Lounge.
So no you time?
No, it was drink, using drugs, sleeping, and then getting up, and then getting ready, and then going to work. I suppose work was quite social because, you know, you were with all the other girls and stuff.
Yeah, and it's not just the strippers. A lot of the reps are the exact same. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course they are. Yeah, it was this. Everyone was the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know. That's upsetting. You know, it's a very difficult place to get put in, and then you come home and you must be like, whoa, all this cam. Do you know what I mean? You must be like, wow, picking yourself back up the floor. You know what I mean? As if you've just been flattened. What's to go a bit lighter? What's your funniest stories from stripping or from the porn industry? I know you love a joke.
So, so it doesn't include me, but I witnessed. So I was recently on a trip abroad with a bunch of friends to do like a collab trip in a big beautiful villa, and there was an anal scene going on, and one of my friends this is really graphic, can I just say it? Yeah, is it adult viewers? Yeah, okay. Yep. So she it was a girl boy, so there was 2 girls and 1 boy. He'd been shagging one of them in the ass, then the other one sucked the dick, got poo in her mouth, and then spat it in the mouth of the other girl. And then this was all caught on camera, and then we all sat round the table in the villa and watched this poo go from the dick into this girl's mouth and then spat back into the But I'm sure that was cut out of the final edit.
No, that's going in. No, that's the reality of it. You know, that's the reality, and But I don't know. I've had loads of weird requests. Like I've had people ask me to do all kinds of. That was like that 2 guys. Remember that 2 guys 1 cup or 2 girls 1 cup?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that haunted me.
But I was like, but we were like, why didn't we? We were like, you must have known you had shit in your mouth. Why did you spit it in the other girl's mouth? Like, why did you do that?
Maybe she did pineapple.
But that's why we were like all screaming with laughter, because we were just like, why would you spit it back into the other girl's mouth? That's funny.
Do you make a lot of friends, like friends for life, like when you're away and stuff like that?
So I am so lucky that I have got a friend group now in the industry, because before now, I was so lonely, so like alone. Like I mean, I don't even have very good relationships with my family anymore. My relationship with my mum's improved, so that's fine. But you know, there was a time where I didn't speak to my mum for like a year. Hardly ever speak to my dad, and friends have dropped off the face of the earth. Like, you know, just it's become very, very difficult to have friends. Like, I think people don't really relate to what I do. They don't understand it, and I don't know. It just becomes increasingly difficult. Like, I lost a lot of friends even when I started stripping, and that was before I went into porn, you know. But now I have got a really good group of friends, and we all have a group chat. And, you know, I feel like I'm one of the girls and they're like my family, and they all understand my life and what I do because they also do the same thing.
That was one of the fan questions when we put out the question chart. How did your friends and family accept you going into porn? I don't know if that's someone maybe looking to go into it or just getting...
Well, I think when I was in Magaluf and I started stripping, I think I came back with a bit of cash one year, and... I think one of my aunties was like, oh, as long as you're not making that swinging around a pole, Lana. And I kind of went, I think it was like my 3rd season or whatever, and I'd already been stripping for like 2 years. And I got to the point where I was like, I just going to tell them. And I just went, well, actually, I did. And my dad was in the room. He just went, like, he kind of got a bit, I don't know, weird about it, and then we just never really spoke about it. And then when I started making,
start, just naturally,
when my mum, me and my mum must have fallen out about something, but she found my Twitter account, which had porn on it, and then sent it to my dad.
Why would? Like, that's against the rules, man. See, as a father myself, right, and obviously I have my boy, but if I had a daughter, you can't be... And then I expect my wife to not send me that.
I know. And then my dad sent it back to me, and I was like, well, fucking...
What did he send back? What, a thumbs up?
he was just letting you know your mum sent me this, and I was like, okay. Awkward.
Mate.
But like, but it was never a conversation because at the end of the day, I know, but I've always been independent from my parents. Really, I mean, I went to uni when I was 16.
Wow.
So I was quite clever in school. I got full A's. I was Dux, which is like an award you get for being super smart. And then I started uni when I was 16. So. You know, I've always been quite independent from my family anyway. And then when I was going, you know, when I was making money doing the stripping and everything. I mean, so like, I don't want to bitch about my mum and dad too much, but like, it's not, they weren't giving me like, you know, like a lot of lucky people have like their parents giving them like an allowance and stuff like that. Like, I never got any help from my parents. So, well, they weren't in a financial place to do it, but, I kind of had to. I mean, I didn't have to strip, but I mean, I stripped to make money, and then I didn't really want to stop it because I was happy doing it and I liked the money I was getting. So, you know, it wasn't really a question whether, like, you know, if they said, "Oh, we don't like this," I'd be like, "Well, I need to pay my bills," you know, like this is what I want to do. So, but my I think they've kind of just over time they've just accepted that that's what I do now. So it's like. Become a bit easier. Like, they just know, you know.
There's always the people that get the handouts are always like, I'm self-made. I was like, yeah, you're 18, you got 200k. Like, yeah. It's, you know what I mean? I
mean, you know.
You still need to make something of yourself. But we talk about Brazzers, Pornhub. Woo! Every person watching this, man and woman, you know, non-binary, whoever, will be... You know, everyone knows Pornhub. You know, we all know Pornhub. I've never watched it in my life, but
lies.
And what's Brazzers? Brazzers was like the let's say Pornhub was like the not the like the normal one, and Brazzers kind of took it up. They used to have stars on their videos. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't get into them before they kind of became more normal. So like Brazzers for me was always like the snobby porn. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
Like, so I was at Pornhub because you're like, I'm not buying premium because, you know, my ma will see it. So I can't take the chance. Know what I mean? But you done a video for Pornhub. You linked up with them.
I won XBiz Europa's Premium Social Media Star of the Year last year, and I promised my fans that if I won that I would do a Pornhub video.
Wow.
So I fully came up with a concept. I rented the nightclub that it was filmed in. I hired the videographer and editor. I travelled down to England to shoot in the nightclub that would let me film a porno in there. I even hired the Pornstar man that fucked me. So he's a professional porn star, and I paid him a rate so that I had the exclusivity of the video. And that video, you won't even find it on my OnlyFans or nothing. It's just on Pornhub. So if you want to watch that video, it's on Pornhub. And I just thought it would be a good way to showcase my talents. And also to, give back to the community that voted for me. Because the award that I won was a fan-voted award. So that means that I got the most votes out of, everybody that was nominated. But that was for the whole of Europe. So
you've won a few awards this year, yeah?
And no, well, I was nominated for an AVN, but I didn't win.
So, the AVN one, that's huge though.
Angela White won. I mean, if I was going to lose to anyone, it would be Angela White. Yeah. She's got big natural boobs too, so...
So, like, AVN's like the buzz?
AVN's like the Oscars of porn.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so honestly, even just to be nominated, that was insane.
That is incredible.
So the nomination for AVN was Most Spectacular Boobs. So technically, like, I was nominated, I was shortlisted to have the most spectacular boobs in the world of porn.
Are they insured?
No.
Like Cristiano's legs.
I know, like...
They're insured.
God, they should be.
No, that is cool, though. That's cool. So what's plans for the future?
I don't know, just keep making content. I'm trying to fix my mental health, trying to be happy, I'd like to show more of myself. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I want to show people that I'm not like this big scary person online called Lana Wolf, that I'm actually a real person with, feelings and a mental health and everything. But I also want to show more of, the kind of wild side of me with the pet Gimps and Wolf Manor and like the fun, quirky side. I want to get back on TikTok because after my mental health took a hit, I didn't touch TikTok for bloody ages. And I was kind of starting to get like into the TikTok scene, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. And but I'm back. I'm sober and I'm back. And I would love to win an award for the fetish side of things. I'd love that. Because what I won was Premium Social Media Star. I've been nominated for Best Boobs, but I've never been validated or recognised for anything to do with my BDSM fetish content. So to be up for an award, even to be nominated for like Best Dominatrix or something, I would love that.
I'm sure you're going to be asked this on the comments or privately, but surely you have to do a video now speaking Spanish or French.
Well, I was thinking that. I was like, there's nothing stopping me going and doing pro porn over in France.
No, you don't need to go. You don't need to jet out to France. Just speak Spanish from one of your videos. Phenomenal.
Well, okay. No, but I was thinking about doing maybe a few pro scenes in a different language. Yeah. So like actually going over to France and like, because then you get fans over there.
Yeah. You're like, hola. Come here, hola.
Si tu veux que je te parle en français, je peux le faire.
Okay, see, that's phenomenal. Even me, I'm hot and sweaty now.
But yeah, I actually did a kind of what do they call it? Franglish. Like a French/English. Franglais. I did like a franglais video where I was like dressed as a French maid, and I kind of like alternated between French and English.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I've not done it again. I guess it's just not really on brand, I guess.
That's cool. Something to do now.
Because it's weird. Like I never speak about the fact that I can speak French and Spanish because I'm just like, well.
See, there's such a
It's not really my brand, but I mean, it doesn't mean that I can't do it. I should showcase my talents more, but
there's such a pre-misconception of like people in the adult industry of blah blah blah. They must have just went in there to make money because they couldn't do anything else. Blah blah blah. But I know a lot of ex-strippers, who were going through medical school and stripped to pay their medical bills, so they didn't have any debt. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, doesn't differentiate.
And honestly, I did. There was a part of me that thought that I was only doing it for money while I was at uni. And like I told you, I actually ended up getting a job with the charity, and the charity gave me the option of going back to do like a business. There was like another degree, and it was like a business degree, and then I could, become higher up in the charity and stuff like that through that. And that was a big decision that I had to make. So I was like, do I do that and then commit myself to another, 4 years of being in this job and doing that, and then becoming a professional? What you traditionally would call a professional person, right? Or do I take a huge risk, quit my job, and just do OnlyFans? Because do you know what made me finally decide on what I was going to do? Was I was thinking, how can I do the degree and the job but still find time to do OnlyFans and strip? And I was like, you obviously just want to do OnlyFans and strip, so just bloody do that. Best thing I ever did.
You can make a lot of money from it. Do you know what I mean? I know they've got all the tax things in now and stuff, but you can still make one hell of an amount of money. And you don't even need to be too explicit. You can go right in. You can go, just wee bits. You can do what you want. It's your thing. Yeah,
exactly. So when I first started, I was just tits only, feet pics, that kind of thing. That's strip videos.
This is another question that a fan asked: is what made you take the jump? That'll be probably a big question a lot of people are asking. What made you take the jump from feet pics, stuff like that, light stuff, to porn?
I think it's the creative element, because there's only so many times that you can do like a video of you dancing in your room stripping and things like that. And I was obviously consuming other people's content online and, watching it and seeing other girls doing well on Twitter and things like that. And I was just like, oh, I want to do that. And I was coming up with all these ideas. I was getting really inspired. Mm-hmm. Like back then, it was great, the inspiration that I got. Like when I opened that door of just do it, just do porn, it opened up so many avenues that I could do with different parodies and ideas and things like that. I mean, I just did a Love Island parody series. Wow. So yeah, we use all the mottos and things like that.
I like it. So
shall we pull them for a chat?
What is I'm saying nothing. Producers like that, yes, me.
Also being a bit of an exhibitionist as well. Like I used to go to I didn't mention this, but I used to go to kink parties even before. Ooh. While I was a stripper. I used to go to Torture Garden.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that go to these masquerade parties and all that.
I used to love stripping because I used to love going on stage and stripping and being on the pole. And then I think I just wanted to have sex online. I wanted everyone to see my vagina.
Well, it's one of them where obviously you made the jump, and for the sounds of it, you are a motivated businesswoman as well.
Yeah, I mean,
where you're going,
I still
exactly
struggle every day with the motivation bit, but I do have a new. I actually have a business coach now who helps me. So he coaches me, like, it costs me a bit of money, but it's a good investment in myself. And, I speak to him for a few hours a week. And we kind of split it between like half an hour and whatever, when I need it. But that's really, really helping me. When it comes to making content, I always have so many ideas. Like I've literally on like my phone notes, I've got like lists and lists and lists and lists of different series, TikTok series, this video, that video, whatever. That isn't the problem that I have. It's more just the being overwhelmed with having everything to do, and then finding that my productivity isn't always great. But I'm working on that, and I'm all like every week that I spend sober, I'm getting more and more productive, and it's the best thing. Another best thing that I ever did was going sober, and I can't tell you for sure whether I'll always be fully sober, but I hope so. Right now, I hope so, and I think it is that way. But I'm trying to give myself realistic goals, and right now, to me, it's like a year. So I want to do the full year. How long have you been
sober for now?
So I stopped drinking right before Christmas, so that I could go into the new year confidently sober, and then I could spend the whole year. I want to do the whole of 2023 sober. And to me, because I started at New Year, it seems a lot easier because I'm like, I want to just do the year now. Like I'm so determined. Like when I set my mind to something, I achieve it. And that's what I set my mind to.
You've been doing well. You've still been going out, which is good.
And the thing is that because of that feeling, like, I know that once I get to New Year next year, the feeling's going to be so good that I'm not going to want to drink. Like that's what I'm hoping. I'm just hoping that I don't think one day, oh, like maybe just one. Like, because I can't have just one. Yeah. I end up on a 4-day bender. So, yeah.
I'm the same. It's one of them where, like, there's a lot of people watching this and a lot of Flip the Mindset fans who are in sobriety and have been in it for a long time. And for me, I'd done 6 months last year, 7 months, 8 months, whatever it was, and then messed it up a few times. And this year, I'll probably go the whole year without it. I just feel so much better. My mental health's better. I feel so much more refreshed. I love my Sundays and Mondays being clear. I can spend time with the wee man. I can go to football with the girls, and there's no recovering, paranoid out your nut, heart palpitations, suicidal thoughts, madness, all those things, fear. You know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. That's damaging.
God, I don't miss that.
It's so damaging, you know. It's so damaging to our generation, and we're really struggling with it.
I think that's why I have such a... I mean, okay, nobody likes getting up in the morning, but sometimes I have this, like impending doom feeling where I wake up and I'm just like, nope, want to go back to bed. And I think it's almost... I mean, I don't know. I'm just diagnosing myself. But it's like, if you've spent so long waking up with a fear, it's almost like my brain's just... knows that that's going to happen, so I wake up and I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, even now as a sober person, I'm getting that as a kind of a side effect.
You got to remember that's natural.
But I am only like 3 months sober, so
it's natural to not want to get up in the morning sometimes. Sometimes we just wake up and we're like, open the blinds.
Not today, nope. Satan.
See you later. Back in bed, you know, that's natural. We all struggle with that, you know.
I know, but I mean, like, I mean, I know it sounds like, oh no, I don't want to get up. Like, I really, 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 like, don't want to be alive in the morning. Like, it's like I wake up and I'm just like but that's something that I'm working on, you know. But
what is the...
It's a mental health thing.
I always ask the question of if you're okay talking about it, what's the roughest and toughest place you've ever been to in your life? Like the most down, the most... And you've recovered because you're here now, you know.
Well, do you actually want me to be honest?
No.
I've been hospitalised from having overdoses and things like that. About three or four times when I was younger.
Wow.
And yeah, like the self-harm thing has still been a thing in my more, like, now that I'm a bit older. But I think the last time I like kind of went to self-harm was this year, January. But I kind of stopped myself. So I kind of did it, and then I kind of stopped, and then I was like, right, no, not going to do that. So that was good. That's a progress.
Really brave of you speaking about it.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm speaking about it. I didn't know if I was going to speak about it, but I guess I'm just trying to be as honest as possible.
It's very brave. What?
I don't know. Probably the worst time recently was probably last year when, you know, I think I was like fucking trending on Twitter and all the rest of it, and I just thought, I literally said to myself, I was like, right, I'm never leaving my house. I'm going to stay in this lovely house that I've bought, and I'm never going to leave, and I'm just going to not post on social media ever again, and I'm just going to live out my life with what money I've got, and then that's it. I'm never going to, like, I was like, I'm just not going to be a human. I just want to be dead. Like, I just want to, like, and then the kind of agoraphobia kind of feeling came back. Like, I remember, like, the first time I left my house, me and my friends had booked Transmit. I think I hadn't left my house for like since until we went to Transmit, and then I couldn't walk to Transmit. I mean, I walked there. I did do it eventually, but it must have taken us hours to get there, and I was being sick, and I hadn't even started drinking or anything at this point. I was being sick from anxiety, which is what I used to do when I was at uni. Every time that I had to go to a lecture or something, because I used to get academic alerts all the time. Like, you know, if you miss another class, you're gonna get kicked out, basically. And then I would have to go, and I would be sick the whole way. And then that feeling came back, and I was like, fuck me, I'm back here again, being sick from nerves, not being. I was crying. My pal was like, fuck me, we're just going to a festival, and I was just didn't want anyone to see me. I was just like, you know. But then I ended up going to the festival, and everyone was like, Lana, can I get a picture? We love you. And I was like, oh my God, like, these comments are making me think that I'm the most hated person in the world. And I'm not. People like me. And if you have 2 brain cells, you know that all that shit isn't true anyway, like what people say and that. So it's like, yeah.
No, you are a really...
So, but I've overcome it. So I you know, and I go to games. I go to Oswald's. Oswald's is my favourite pub. But I don't drink now. And I'm back to making content and doing cool stuff like this. So I have come a long way already. But it just got to the point where, honestly, it was sober up or die, because I was either gonna accidentally kill myself or purposely do it. Genuinely, that's where I got to. So I was like, I need to fix myself, and I did it from a family, because I've got little brothers and sisters. I've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and 1 non-gender specific sibling. A they. And I just love them so much, and I Like, I see them more regularly now. Obviously, when I was traveling and stripping, I missed quite... I would go away for 6 months and not see, my brothers and sisters. So I'm seeing them more regularly now that I've got, like, my home and my base. And I was just like, I couldn't do it to them,
What advice would you give to someone, going through the things that you've previously went through, like the self-harm and the self-sabotage and stuff like that?
Like, don't sit around and not get help, because that's what I did for so long. And like, if you've got a problem, I mean, I used to go abroad and stuff, and like I'd be like, oh yes, I'm, there's something clearly wrong with my mental health, and then I'd just go abroad and like forget that and then I'd come back and be like, oh yeah, I still have all these problems. Or just don't self-medicate with drink and booze and drugs, because you will accidentally kill yourself probably if you keep going. Please don't, like, and the thing is that as well, it's like a warning as well, is that the worst things that you'll do and the worst arguments that you'll have with people and the times where you hurt people, like that'll be when you're drunk. Like, it's happened to me, like I had a big horrible fallout with my mum, and it was because we were both drunk. And then I think that was the last time I drank, and I was like, I'm not doing this again, because I could have avoided that. And I was like, that was such a horrible, horrible argument. And I was like, if I hadn't have been drunk, and if she hadn't have been drunk, if she'd been drunk and I'd been sober, I could have walked away and not argued, right? But the fact that we were both drunk, and it was like, it could have been avoided, and I remember that day I wanted to kill myself. I was like, I can't believe I've fallen out with my mum like that. Like, we said some really hurtful things, and I was suicidal that day, and I just thought, like, if that wouldn't have happened. So it's almost like you can avoid like terrible things that will make you feel terrible by just like being more self-aware with the drink. I couldn't have got sober on my own. I have gone through a year of counselling with a charity. I got a free counsellor that was I got referred through the NHS to a charity that helped me, and I had a counsellor who I spoke to once a week, every week for a year, until I was so sober in January that I said, look, you could be helping someone else. So now I told you, I've got like a lifestyle/business coach. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a therapist, but it's not, because it's more geared on like my productivity and what I want to achieve. But I am not doing this on my own. I have had help, but it took me a while to get to the point where I was like, okay, I need help. But you need to have, it's a lot of it's willpower, Like I never missed an appointment with my alcohol counsellor, because I knew that I was lucky to have been given the chance at help, and two, I knew I needed it, and I was determined. I'm not going to say that I was sober in 2022. While I had this woman, I wasn't, but it helped knowing that she was like there through it, and there was times where I was trying kind of, because I'd go, I think the longest I went was like 5 weeks. Like I would be like 5 weeks sober. And then there was more and more times where I was like, no, I'm not drinking. So like I kind of it took me a year though of kind of playing with the idea of being sober and trying to be sober. And then obviously it got to the point where I was just like, when it affected, like when I had that argument with my mum and it affected me and my family, I was like, nah. Because I could list times where I've been drunk and like done something stupid or fucking offended somebody or said something, or I don't know, and I was like, I just don't want that to happen anymore. I can avoid it. So
yeah, you've grown as a person. That's some really sound advice. Thank you for that. Okay. And before we finish, I need to get these fans' questions that I've had.
Yep.
I've had emails through all my bloody people emailing my email address, Twitter, Instagram, wanting to ask you a question. Okay, maybe not that one.
My fans are naughty.
So here's a fan. They've sent a few, but they've said something that resonates with today. People know your persona, but who is the real life Lana? And do people realise they would love to take you for a coffee just to hear what you've got to say? And I think probably that's going to be amplified today with how honest and refreshing you've been.
I want people to know that there are lots of there are elements of Lana Wolf that's real. I am the naughty Dominatrix Pornstar, Rangers fan. All of that is real, but you have to remember that, like, like we spoke about it earlier with, you know, playing up to the whole like I'm an Audi slag thing, and you know, and there's a lot of things that I've hidden, like my mental health, you know, my struggle. I mean, also sometimes I've, you know, got on social media and had a rant and stuff and then deleted it. Yeah. So like people who have followed me on my journey might have, you know, seen glimpses here and there on like, you know, TikTok lives and stories and whatever. Like I've tried to be a bit more open about stuff, but a lot of it's been hidden. So I guess that there is a lot more to me than what you see online. But yeah, and that obviously some stuff is played up a bit.
What made you go sober, and how much has it changed your life? You've literally just answered that, which is great. Who is your favourite ever Rangers player?
Ali McCoist. And I met him too.
Super Ali. Are you single?
Yes.
Does Lana regret picking the name Lana, anal backwards? Now she's done with doing porn.
What? Now that I'm done doing porn?
I'm
not done doing porn.
Not. Obviously you're not. Anal Wolf. As your current boyfriend and your ex were both... So, if your current boyfriend and your ex-boyfriend were both drowning, would you peg me?
Well, for God's sake, I'd peg him. Also, I don't have a current boyfriend.
Oh, that's the best thing
like, I'm not a nun. Like, I go on the odd date and stuff with Select.
Oh, Jesus, man,
it's like people, but I don't have a boyfriend.
Brilliant. What's the most sensible thing you've ever heard someone say? Probably in St Andrews University.
The most sensible thing?
I have no idea.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Like that. Do you enjoy wearing latex, and would you like a man in latex?
Yes. Yes, both.
Okay. Have you ever...
Oh, he doesn't want to say it. It must be bad.
Okay.
If it's a have you ever question, I probably have.
Yeah. But listen, no, just before we finish, listen, you're an incredible person. You know,
thank you.
I know you personally now.
Yeah,
you're
we're
kind,
friends now.
You're kind, you're
He's
soft.
my football manager.
You're kind, you're soft, you know, you're outgoing, you're caring. There's so much to you, and I'm glad you've come on and spoke. And I hope, and I wish you all the best in the future. I know you're going to go and rock it, and keep up with everything you're doing. Keep helping yourself, keep healing your soul first, you know, and you'll probably get thousands of questions on mental health now. You don't need to answer them all, you know what I mean? So just be aware of that, and, you know, maybe... down the line you can put some videos out, speak, you know, you might get questions you might ask.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, you know, I'm not an expert though. I mean, I'm having to get help from people, so
listen,
it's like
so am
I did consider it, maybe trying to do a bit of content helping people, but maybe I think I probably will, to try and share a bit more of my story. If it, you know, like you said, if it helps one person, that's, you know, that's all that matters. I actually have had a lot of people message me already to do with sobriety and stuff. Like, it's crazy how many people struggle with it, especially young people. Like, I thought I was quite young to be, you know, because you think your stereotypical alcoholic would be older, but no, like, we're all in this modern culture of drinking all the time, partying every weekend, and it kind of, you know, and then you're going out for lunch with your friends and drinking, and, you know, it becomes, you don't realise how much you drink, and until you try to stop, and then you can't, which is what happened to me, and that's how I knew I had a problem, because, you know, I'd tell myself, right, no, I'm not going to drink, and then you end up drinking, you know, and then if you can't stop at one, etc. Anyway, but you know, a lot of people will listen to that and think, oh yeah, that could be me. And yeah, I've had lots and lots of messages from people asking me for advice and asking me, you know, like how did you get sober and stuff like that. And I just tell them the same thing. I'm like, you know, get help. Like, there are charities out there. Like, go to the NHS. They will refer you to somebody, and you'll get a counsellor. You'll get a counsellor quicker doing that than you will going through the mental health route, where you have to wait 6 weeks. I think I had a counsellor for drugs and alcohol within 2 weeks, something like that, or might have been a bit longer. But in comparison, it's a shorter time. So yeah, it's easy. It's easy to get the help. You just need to be willing to kind of do it. And another thing is, you don't even when you're getting the help. like, I wasn't sober when I was getting the help. I was still drunk all the time. But that's the point. They help alcoholics. They don't help sober people, you know? So, because I always thought, oh, God, like, I felt guilty going to my meetings because I was like, I haven't been sober this week. What am I going to tell her? What am I going to lie? You know, and I almost felt like, and then I was like, yeah, I'll drink again. No. But they talk to you about what's going on inside. You know, they go over, like, your past and things like that, and, like, things that might be triggering you to drink. And then, you know, and look at me. Sometimes I thought, you know, am I even taking this seriously? Is it even worth me having this help? But look at me, 1 year of that, and I am sober now. So it obviously has worked. So even when you start to doubt yourself and you think, oh, this isn't working for me, it probably is. Just stick with it. And what else? Where
no, there wasn't.
A tangent there. What was the original question? Because I went on a tangent.
That's perfect.
Is it? You sure?
That's absolutely perfect. Social media, what can I get you on?
I'll just say one more thing before we do that. So it's like, I'm really excited in a year's time to watch back this podcast and just to see how far I've come, because I'm feeling really positive today. I'm looking positive to the future and to see what I can achieve this year with sobriety and things like that. So yeah.
Absolutely love it.
And then, do you want to ask again?
Yeah, so what can I get you on? So it's Miss Lana Wolf on Twitter, on YouTube?
It's not, I've changed it. So it's Lana Wolf UK on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok.
Nice. So
easy
all the
peasy, lemon squeezy.
Lana Wolf UK.
Yep.
Don't forget to give Lana a follow. If you didn't know Lana, you do now. You need to check all her stuff out, her workout. Don't forget to give the podcast a subscribe. Let's get booming again. Let's get absolutely smashing it again. We've got some amazing guests coming up. But you've been incredible, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Miss Lana Wolf.
I've overshared.